Hi, welcome to a short overview of the BizAps suite of accounts payable solutions. My name is Bob Mercer. I'm a business development manager with BizAps. Just a brief word about BizAps itself. A busy slide, but on the bottom right you can see, or the right-hand side, you can see we are certified in a number of areas with SAP. Perhaps the most pertinent of those is we're a services partner, which means we have a number of certified SAP consultants. In other words, we understand SAP and its configuration and deployment as well as simply adding on our solution. So we can give you or develop for you, deliver to you a total solution that's covering our solution add-on plus the configuration of SAP to give you a total solution, total efficient solution. This is quite important. We have a number of blue chip clients. Bottom left, those who have taken our accounts payable solutions, about which I'm talking today. The bottom right, we've deployed SAP, supplier relationship management and associated solutions. Then in the top section, those are the clients where we've done the whole purchase to pay deployment, put in SAP SRM or upgrade SAP SRM to 7 or whatever, and put in a range of our accounts payable solutions. But looking at the purchase to pay as a business totality. That's including undertaking a number of strategy reviews for these particular clients prior to the deployment. The solution set itself, the sort of jewel in the crown is accounts payable workbench. And essentially this is a suite of solutions that take invoices, as you can see on the left-hand side here, from a variety of sources, and try and automatically process and post those into SAP. Now, a lot of the functionality here, you can see managing exceptions, invoice monitoring, is to do with what I might call exceptional problem invoices. But just to emphasize the fact that AP Workbench is focused on delivering 70 to 95% automatic posting to SAP, no hands, automatic posting. Now, that means taking electronic invoices, be they XML, EDI, or OCR, converted invoices, extracted invoices, and automatically posting those without any manual intervention into SAP. That is our ambition and our target. So we have a sophisticated line item matching engine to deliver this, which we're very proud. I just want to emphasize that point. So the exception management is really only dealing with that 5 to 30%. It depends on the nature of your industry, what percentage that'll be, whether it's goods for resale or goods not for resale. But all we're focusing on here is the exception management. So here you can see we process exceptions. You can return to vendor if the invoice is unsatisfactory, unreadable, or it hasn't got a PO on it. We have a number of nice light touch web-based workflows to the business to notify people to complete goods receipts, to ask the business to sign off price variances against the PO, or to code non-PO invoices. So there are a variety of options, or even AP can just send workflow queries out to the business to help AP, the accounts payable function, resolve any exception invoices or validation errors. Also, lots of good reporting metrics, name and shame reports for people in the business who are too tardy turning around their workflows. So that's the sort of the overall sort of capability. A lot of capability in this particular space to process and try and automatically post invoices into SAP. Just looking at the screen here, you can see the screen at the bottom. This is the typical accounts payable screen that the accounts payable function will see. You can see here that effectively there's one line per invoice. So every invoice has a line, the status, and then there's lots of invoice. You can scroll way over to the right about that invoice, when it was scanned, when it was processed, when it was posted, when it's released for payment, etc., etc. And lots also of hyperlinks. So if you click on the vendor name, it takes you into the vendor master screen in SAP. If you click on the vendor number, it takes you to the open items against that vendor. And similarly on that line, it could be a posted invoice number that would take you into FP04 and so on. MIR4, whatever. It would take you into looking at the actual invoice. So lots of hyperlinks, lots of status, and you can see the paperclip there. That means there's an object attached. There's an image attached, rather. You can click on that to see the image of the invoice. Okay, so nice and easy to use. Lots of tabs. The first tab is those invoices that have hit the brick wall of SAP in validation terms and failed, a bit like failed iDocs, if you understand that technology. And they're validation problems that have to be addressed by AP and sorted. So that's what the AP function focuses on that particular tab. In process means they've been posted to SAP and they're with the business for clearance and approval. So those are things you need to chase with the business. And so on, the tabs go through the various stages of the life cycle of an approved invoice through the clearance of pay and payment. What else? This is an ALV report. What that means is you can move columns around, suppress columns, add columns, sort by due date or payment date or whatever. Or you can ensure that, say, filter it so an AP clerk only sees vendors A to F. Very flexible. Save your own versions so you can manage your workload effectively. Export to Excel for graphics. Very, very powerful set of solutions in that particular space. Standard solutions in SAP. Also, the top left-hand button there with the two little squares is a query button, a search button where you can search for invoices. So if a vendor phones up, says he wants to query the status of invoice, his invoice reference number ABC, you can simply key in ABC and it'll find that invoice for you. As we process invoices, any actions taken against an invoice are fully logged and auditable. Any comments made are stored in long text of the logistics invoice in SAP, date and time stamped. So there's a full audit trail of communications, correspondence, data changes, whatever else, status change of that invoice to keep everyone fully abreast of what has happened historically. If you drill down into one of these particular lines, it'll take you, if it's posted into a Miro screen, of course, it's not posted into what we call Biro, which is really a BizAps equivalent. This is a failed invoice, it's failed validation, hasn't posted to SAP, and we're holding in our holding area. But your AP clerks can deal with it exactly the same way as a Miro screen. It's laid out exactly the same manner, the same functionality. From this, you can use various of the icons you can see up here to action things like queries from the business. You can fire away a query to the business. That's that particular button that brings up a screen saying who do you want to send it to, what's your query. You could fire up this particular button with the envelope there. You can fire up return to vendor, various templated messages you can modify prior to being sent, and so on. Lots of functionality to help you resolve issues as they arise. But remember, our target is 70 to 95% automatic posting. Web-based approvals. This is a user, a nice little web screen, simple web screen. He's got about 10 invoices to resolve, to clear. If he clicks on one of those particular lines, it takes him into screens in a little more detail. And here you can see that the value of the invoice of 2480, whereas the PO value is lesser 2410. Therefore, we've got a blocking reason as price. Now, the business user can then approve that, say I approve the price difference. In some businesses, they like to go back and change the PO to align to the invoice, but you can actually approve it in this manner. This is what we prefer to do as best practice. You can withhold the invoice. In other words, that's just saying to AP, I'm dealing with this, I'm asking for a credit note or whatever else, various reason codes. Or you can reassign. It doesn't belong to me, you've got the wrong man. Send it back to AP. We can also add attachments, comments, whatever else. Remember, those are all date and time stamped and stored away in SAP. So processing is not an issue. So that's a very quick whistle-stop tour of Accounts Payable Workbench. Supplier Portal. This is a sort of online banking for supplier. Give him a web-based access to his own account. So he can look at, down here, he can look at all his open invoices. He can look at the status of those invoices, when they're going to get paid. He can look at remittances. That is actually when a payment run has taken place from SAP to the bank. And you can click on those remittances and see what invoices were settled. You can also print that out to help him with cash marking on his receivable system. Also, you can look at all open POs and convert those into invoices, something commonly called PO flip, where you can actually create an invoice himself within SAP based on a purchase order or lines within a purchase order. You can also correspond with the accounts payable function at a high level, message streams. You can also upload attachments to support photographs of damaged goods or whatever, or not damaged goods, as the case may be. So it allows a lot of correspondence between the vendor and the AP function. Against each individual invoice, he can also upload objects and make comments as well. These ones I'm just highlighting here these two items here tend to be dialogue at a higher level, just a general vendor level, rather than down to specific invoice. This is a summary screen. You can actually drill down into specific screens to do an invoice inquiry and so on. But another point here is that Other things the vendor can do is they can upload files of invoices. That invoice file is then offered up to APW for automatic posting. Yeah. Also, the vendor can view his master data and request changes to his master data. That fires off a workflow for approval of those changes within the business. Once approved, you automatically update the vendor master. So the vendor manages his own master data. Can't complain that items are invoices are paid to the wrong people or whatever else. Finally, the purchase card solution. This processes purchase card activities, typically plastic card-in-hand activities, where you receive a file typically on a weekly basis down from the card provider. And what we simply do is we take that bank statement or that file and we split it up between all the individual card holders. They each get a web screen, a web statement that they can access, look at. We try and default all the cost coding for each individual item, but they can modify that if they wish. When they're happy with their statement, it's submitted to their manager for approval. It's all automatically handled in SAP, automatic reconciliation, seamless reconciliation. And one big advantage is, whereas P-card spend is often just a financial transaction in SAP, we ensure it's posted through the vendor account and is posted to the relevant product or material groups, so that the spend on P-cards is included with all spend. So when your category managers are renegotiating, say, a stationery contract, they can see all the spend on stationery, whether it be through P-cards or conventional MM expenditure or SIL expenditure. So again, this just shows the web screen that the cardholder gets and the options available to him to submit disputes, so on, add comments. He can split the line a number of ways. So if he wants to allocate the cost of a particular item across up to 99 different cost objects, or is it 999, he can do so. That's his privilege. The real merit of purchase card solutions, a list of general merits, but key points about our solution is it's all embedded architecture within SAP, real-time validation. So when you code against a cost center, that cost center is closed, you can't post to it. If a project's closed, you can't post to it. Our solution is issuing bank independent, so the banks will offer you lots of hosted solutions, but if you fall out with that particular bank or get a better rebate offer from another card provider, you've got to change the way you do business, change the screens you handle. With us, it's always the same screens. It's just a different file from a different supplier. We can just switch suppliers at will without any impact on your back-end business user and any retraining requirement. I mentioned the point about spend analytics. We integrate P-card spend and ordinary MM spend, so your category managers get a total view. We also get visibility of the liability in SAP more quickly. In a bank solution, you tend to have to wait till it's properly coded up before it enters SAP. With us, we just get it as a cold transaction in SAP. We know the liability to pay the card provider, and we handle the process of cost coding almost at our leisure. If the cost coding isn't completed by the end of the month, we also have the ability to run automatic accruals against the default cost objects. So this is great from the financial control perspective, management accounting perspective. So that was a very quick whistle-stop tour through Accounts Payable Workbench, our vendor portal, and our purchase card solution. We have a number of other solutions in this particular space, as well as business expertise. So if you wish to discuss the matter further, please contact Daniel Charles at BizApps.net or send us an email via EcoHub. Thank you for your time.